Hello, I am Pichu, the 679th of my name. And look, I know it's been a while, and I say that every time. Honestly, I'm just going to stop making promises about new videos. However, I have been seeing a lot of glazing for a certain Pokemon in the new Pokemon Legends ZA game. So I'm here to tell you why Bois is not good in this game. I have with me a list of every single main quest in the game, along with every single promotion match from Vinny down. So from rank V all the way to rank B, and I also have the other fights there. So yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start from around after Vinny, and like we're gonna go from quest 9 onwards, because the beginning of the game, yeah, it's a level 12 Heracross. You're gonna be able to get through the beginning of the game just fine, and I doubt you can even get them that early, anyways, right? Because the first 4 quests is like the prologue. So like ranks 5 to 9 is level 9 to 25. So in that range is where you would get boys, right? So yeah, but the plan is to just go down the list of the entire game and explain to you that Boys isn't very good in this game. And normally I'm not going to reference the main, like the post game, like that much, because the post game doesn't really matter. You've already beaten the game. But I've been hearing comments of a lot of people saying that Boys has been hard carrying their runs. So we are going to be looking into some of the more post game versions, or like late game versions of fights. There is one in particular I want to look into. We'll get to it when we get there, but without further ado, let's begin with the rank V fight against Vinny. So Vinny has four Pokemon, and this fight, admittedly, this is probably an easy win. Admittedly, right? As long as you make sure to avoid draining Kiss from Baniri. Everything in this fight is weak to fighting, frankly. So this fight, it's fine. Admittedly, even the game kind of recommends it. So even game 8 recommends using a Heracross. So that's fine. I would recommend using a Heracross against Houndoom because it's a fire type. Admittedly, not a great plan, but overall, this is probably your best fight, right? So next up after V is Chase the Mysterious Pokemon, which is just you chase Zygarde, then you end up fighting the Mega Absol. You fight Mega Absol, which is about 25. Actually, you don't even get to use Heracross for this fight. I remember now. Whoopsies, you don't even get to use Heracross for that fight. So you have to. I think you have to use your Mega Absol in this fight, but then you have to fight Tawny or Urbane. You have to fight your rival, and this fight, um, I'm not actually sure what this guy has. Hold on. Okay, he has the starters and Manectric. So depending on what starter you picked, we'll base it off of my playthrough for this for Urbane. So I chose Totodile, so he would have a Pignite and a Bayleaf in this fight. And admittedly, it's a 50-50 split here, because you have to go because of fire type. It's not fun. You can do it. Not really. It's a fire type. You kind of just lose that, frankly. And then Bayleaf's kind of a walk in the park. And then Manectric is, well, the Mega Manectric, if you really want to run into a Mega Pokemon with a Heracross, you can if you want. I don't recommend it. So after that, you go meet up with Vinny. You do the Vinny fight. And you do that. No clue why they did that in reverse order. Then you go. Then you get your Mega Stone. Doesn't really matter. Oh wait. Now it's time to deal with the Megas. And you don't get the Heracross until later on in the game. So if you do want to do these fights with the Heracross, I wouldn't recommend it. Because, I mean, the first one you have to fight is a Slowbro. Right? You have to fight Mega Slowbro. Not fun. Mega Camera Up. It's not fun, as it's a fire type. And then Mega Victory Bell, which is resistant. Well, it's neutral to bug, but resistant to fighting. So overall, it's still not fun, frankly. Granted, you are weak. It is. I mean, technically, it's not like it can hit you that hard either. I mean, it can hit you from poison type attacks, but those poison type attacks, genuinely, that shit shreds through your damn health. Genuinely, insane work. Then you have to fight Zygarde. You get the Pebble. Then you have to get your Renki. So you have to go fight Canary. So you have to. There's just a bunch of quests that has you show the Megas. Huh. Anyways, yeah, I'm just. If you couldn't tell, I'm just going through a website that just tells me the entire story. But yeah. So yeah, you get your challenger ticket. It's generally fine. You do the Dynamo. You do the quiz. You get the Galette. Oh, I'm not even in frame, my dumbass. Then you get the Galette. You do round 3. You have to fight Manny, who has actually kind of an annoying team, frankly, for a Heracross. Again, we're basing this whole thing off of the assumption that you're using a Heracross for every single fight, and trying to only use a Heracross for every single fight. Now, I do admit, Heracross at level 34 does have access to, like, Rock Blasts, and I think you can get Rock Tomb by TM by this point. I don't really remember where you get it or when you get it, because it's an open world game, so you can kind of get most TMs whenever. So the whole needing a TM part isn't really necessary, but not sure. But still, it's rough fighting an Emolga. And Emolga's already annoying without being 4 times weak to flying. So that already just sounds like a nightmare. So yeah, have fun with that. You get a glare and slow for a slow. Oh, neat. I'll have to do that later. Anyways, then you have to fight Tarragon with a Mega Excadrill. It's generally fine. It's a Powdon, Niggersby, Mega Excadrill. 2 of them are weak to fighting. One of them is a Powdon who's already generally tanky. That's relatively fine. Canary's first fight. We will get to Canary. We will get to post-game Canary later. Canary, genuinely, I don't want to spoil myself too hard, so I'm only going to say the briefs of it. Canary is genuinely the hardest Heracross counter in this game without being an actual Heracross counter in this game. I don't know how they did it. I don't know why they did it, but they did it, and it's hilarious. And I fucking love it. Like, genuinely, thank you, ZA. I don't know why. I find such joy in seeing this fight be perfectly tailored to screw over a Heracross. I don't know why. It's fucking hilarious. Anyways, moving on. You managed to beat Canary. So you do your shit. You get your shit done. Job for Team MZ. You have to go find more Megas. I think. Do you have to find more Megas? Oh no, he'll teach you how to Roto Glide. Then you have to go fight the Megas. Let's look at these Megas now, shall we? Mega Beedrill. Resistant to both of your attacks, so that's not happening anytime soon. Mega Halucha, which is resistant to both of your attacks, so that's not happening anytime soon. And Mega Banette, which is immune or resistant to both your attack main stab options. So that's also not happening anytime soon. I'm sorry, but using non-stab against a Mega while not being Mega is not going to end very well. Granted, they won't kill you very fast. I mean, you gotta be really good to dodge half this shit and make sure it doesn't die, especially against the Holucha. The Holucha will absolutely screw you if you're caught in the middle of an animation. He will. He has flying type moves. He will absolutely shred your hair across very quickly if you let it. Again, as always, I don't recommend it, but whatever. If you really want to do it, I mean, you could use Rock Blast and Rock Tomb from Beedrill. You could technically. I think you. You know, let me just look up Heracross's learned set in this game. Hold on. Heracross. Oops. 1DB. Moves learned. Legend ZA. What do you learn in this game? Okay. So, Heracross learns Aerial Ace at 15. You could technically do it. Again, it's not gonna be fun. Like, you get Shadow Claw from TM. You get Spikes from TM. You could, in theory, do it. Again, this isn't like the type of Pokemon that would be considered a hard carry Pokemon is a Pokemon able to comfortably deal with everything in the game, right? Without having to stress. Without needing a full move set to perfectly be able to take down the opposition that is opposing you, right? I assume that's what we would consider a hard carry. This is not a hard carry. I would not consider Bois a hard carry. However, we aren't done yet, as we still need to do with Holucha, which you want Ice, Psychic, Electric, and Fairy moves, of which you have Aerial Ace, and that is it. You have Aerial Ace. Granted, it's Aerial Ace in ZA, so it's not bad. But admittedly, it's also Aerial Ace, which is 60 base power against a Mega Holucha. So you have to be in his face. So if he decides to launch like an air slash at you, you just die. Because you're 4 times weak and you probably don't have the. I don't think you get the Heracross. I don't actually know when you get the Mega Heracross height. But yeah, you still have to fight that thing with only Aerial Ace, which is one move. So, not fun. Or you just let Naveen beat the thing for you, which is also not a great plan. Then you have to fight Mega Banette. You get Shadow Claw, you get Knock Off and Night Slash, and that is it. That is it. You get 3 moves this time. Whoa, major improvement. You get 3 moves. You get Night Slash, Knock Off, and Shadow Claw for super effective damage this time around. You have nothing else, but you have those. None of them are stab, but you have those. You have to look up where to find them, and you generally need to prepare an entire moveset just to deal with a Mega Banette, but you can do it. And I mean, Mega Banette's already kind of annoying as is, so having to do all this just to fight Mega Banette is kind of ridiculous. But like, sure, whatever. Whatever, man. If you really want to do this, go right ahead. I mean, granted, Mega Banette's not hard. Given the main problem with how Mega Banette works in this game is that it's a decoy. Like, it spawns fakes, but the fakes have health bars, and the main one doesn't. Which isn't even its fault. It's just the fault of the game making the fight really easy. Because once you realize the fault of this fight, you generally don't mess it up. Unfortunate, really. But what are you going to do? Anyways, moving on. You go Hotel Z. You have to go fight Ivor now. Right? And you were thinking, but Pichu. Pichu. It's Ivor. What's wrong with Ivor? Well, he has a Heracross with Aerial Ace. He has a Medicham with Zen Headbutt. He has a Machamp with... Okay, admittedly, he has like nothing that would really mess you up. And he has a Mega Phalanx with no retreat and Rock Side mainly, I guess. I don't know. Admittedly, this fight's just not fun to deal with, frankly, but it's possible. It is possible, admittedly. So there is that. It's not the funnest fight, but you can do it. Oh, anyways, you actually don't even get to fight him immediately. You actually have to go find Gwyn. So you have to go through... You have to re-fight Canary, which... Hold on. This is... Hold on. Hold on a minute. Can I check something here? Hold on. Wait, this skipped ahead a bit. I want to see something. I want to look at this Canary fight. I think I have to look at Bulbapedia, I think. Yeah, Bulbapedia has second battle. It should be the right one. Yes. Ah, yes. Second battle. It's also a mandatory Canary fight. We now start to realize the problem here. Heliolisk has Thunder Wave, and Parabolic Charge that it likes using a fair bit. Ampharos is already a bulky, annoying monster. Gets Dazzling Gleam in this fight. For some bizarre reason, it gets Dazzling Gleam. Electros gets Fire Punch. And then Sunfist gets Stealth Rock. This is the second time you have to fight Canary, and it's you have to fight Canary here, mind you. So you can't just avoid the fight and just not fight her. You have to fight Canary here, because you need to figure out where Gwyn is, and the only way to figure out where Gwyn is to fight Canary, because she'll tell you. But you then realize, wait a minute, this fight is becoming progressively more annoying to fight. And yes, it is. The only Pokemon who never really becomes an issue is Heliolisk. Because Stunfisk has Stealth Rock. So unless you wait out the Stealth Rock, which I still don't recommend, you still have to deal with Ampharos' Dazzling Gleam and Electros' Fire Punch. It's also a Mega Electros. Mind you, we'll get to the other fights later, because I'm pretty sure you have to fight her again. Anyways, moving on. She'll give you the clue. Ice Beam. And you have to freeze the mountain, go into the sewer, find the clef, catch a Klefki. You have to fight a Klefki, by the by. So, you have to catch it without knocking it out, fortunately. Then you have to go find it. You have to go do all this. Then you have to go fight Gwyn. And this is where we get to the hardest counter in the game. Because the entire concept of the Ghost type is that it is not only resistant to bug, but also immune to fighting. So the entire type as a whole kind of just forces you to fully plan around fighting a Ghost type team. Right? Because again, you don't really get a whole lot of good options. Right? Because Ghost types... Alright, you know what? Let me just show you what he learns in this game. Let me see if I can get all the moves here on the screen. Alright. This is every single move Heracross learns in this game. Now, I'm sure you noticed this. But, actually, did I even have it on the right? You couldn't even see it properly. Anyways, I'll put it in the video. I'll edit it into the video. But, the most notable attacks he learns are Mega Horn at level 45, Aerial Ace at 15, which is Aerial Ace is very important in your moveset, so you'll probably want to have it around like the entire time. Brick Break at level 24, Rock Blast at 28. Um, and then you learn the TM's Night Slash, Knock Off, Rock Tomb, Stone Edge, and Shadow Claw. All of those are going to be your most important moves throughout the entirety of a Heracross solo run or a Heracross carry run. I say this because ghost types exist. And funny story about ghost types. Outside of the Gorgeist, which is actually weak to Aerial Ace, they're weak to only 3 moves, and they're all TMs, so you have to go get those TMs to even have a chance at this fight. Which is it's just great, because you can't even just say, oh, I'm gonna go use Earthquake. No, because Gorgeist resists Earthquake, because it's a grass type. I mean, technically, you could go use Earthquake against Chandelure. But it's still a Mega Chandelure, man. That guy's gonna one-shot you, man. He's gonna hit you with like a flamethrower and then just one-shot you. So, it's not fun. It just really isn't. Then you have to go fight Ivor. We already explained Ivor earlier. He's fine. Next up, you have to go deal with the Rust Syndicate. Which is, you have to fight Philip, which is Steel types. Ironically, still an issue. Actually, I do want to mention this Philip fight, because there is one thing about this fight that makes it a very interesting fight. His first fight is actually the hardest version of his fight for a Heracross. Yes, the fight technically gets harder the more and more you progress the game. However, specifically for a Heracross, this version of the fight is the hardest version, because Skarmory, his Mega Skarmory in this fight, has Air Slash. However, in every other fight, it loses Air Slash and does not replace it with another flying move. Which means the Steel Flying type doesn't have a flying move for like half the game. For the second half of the game. Which is just lovely. And it's honestly the only reason I consider Philip to be a winning matchup for a Heracross. Because Skarmory loses its Air Slash. Which is still ridiculous, but whatever. Anyways, then you have to go do Rust Syndicate. And you then have to go deal with some more Megas. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Mega Mawile. Resistant to bugs, neutral to fighting, but you're weak to fairy as a Heracross. So, not fun. Technically doable. You can use Earthquake and I think Bulldoze for this fight. You have Earthquake, Bulldoze, Spikes, Munch. Yeah, no, you really don't, because Heracross's special attack is 40. Genuinely awful, so you're not using that. You're going to be using Earthquake and Bulldoze, and that's it, because it resists everything else. Cool. Great fight. Great planning, gang. Alright, that's Mega Mawile. Mega Barbaracle. Probably your easiest fight in a while. Probably, outside of like the first majority of Philip's team. Well, it's a Barbaracle, so you could use Bullet Seed, which is your only grass type move that you have. But you can just use your fighting moves, and that'll probably do the trick. Probably be better off than Bullet Seed, but having Bullet Seed would be nice. But this is honestly one of your better fights. No real big issue here. Mega Ampharos. Oh, funny story. You have to fight Gwyn. You have to fight Gwyn here. And Gwyn, just like Canary, also happens to get harder every single time you fight her. Hold on. Gwyn team. Pokemon CA. Bulbapedia. Thank you. her second battle. Let's look at this. Well, Chandelure has Flamethrower, as usual. Gengar gets added to the team with Hypnosis. Has Icy Wind, but it gets harder later on. So, but for right now, it's fine. But keep that in mind. She'll be pretty annoying later on, given that she's Ghost. You also have to deal with a Phantom. Actually, no, she does with Phantom. Anyways, you have to fight Mega Ampharos. So, you're going to be using your Earthquakes and your Bulldozers a lot more here as well. So, still fun. You have your Rust Syndicate shit, and you have to go fight another Gengar and some Ghastlies. Still fun. Still a lot of fun. Yeah. You have to go break some Mega Crystals. Then you have to go fight some Battle Connoisseurs. I don't actually know what they have. I kind of forget what they have. The Battle Connoisseur as a concept is like fairy types, but I don't really remember what they have. So you should be fine. Then some guys pull up from the Lumio safety group, which is like an Onyx, I think. So yeah, fighting moves make that easy. Anyways, you finish up that. Now you have to fight Corbo. Corbo. To get a rank C. Corbo is a poison type specialist. Sort of. Kind of. Not really, actually. He's weird. So we start off with an Arbok. With Fire Fang. And Toxic. Fun start. Gyarados with Bounce. A Roserade with Sludge Bomb Shadow Ball Synthesis. And a Mega Scolipede with Gunk Shot, X-Scissor, Earthquake, and Protect. Basically, it's going to be a very annoying fight. Frankly, I don't have a whole lot of notes for this because I guess the simple plan is to use Earthquakes and Bulldozers against Arbok, use Rock Blast or Stone Edge against Gyarados, use Aerial Ace against Roserade, and use Aerial Ace and Rock Blast against Mega Scolipede for a moveset of Earthquake, Aerial Ace, Rock Blast, or Stone Edge. And then I'd probably pick up the other rock move, because having just Earthquake should be enough to deal with an Arbok. But it does have Fire Fang, so do be careful. But overall, fights, I mean, this fight is not fun. The fact you need to plan out an entire moveset consisting of 0 stab moves for this fight is ridiculous. And again, not a carry Pokemon, as we've already determined, but at this point we're this far into the game, I'm going to do it anyways because I'm that much of a petty bitch. So he does his stuff. So he fights, he checks into the hotel. You have to go fight at the battle court. You have to fight Lydia with a Cloudster, Vanilla, Shinamolga, and Astario. In theory, this fight shouldn't be a problem, but then it becomes a problem about halfway through with an Emolga and a Staryu. Granted, it is a Staryu, so as long as you hit it with a Mega Horn, because at this... Actually, do you even get Mega Horn at this point? I'm not even sure you get Mega Horn. Yeah, no, well, yes, you would. You would have Mega Horn by this point, so just hit Staryu with a Mega Horn and you should be fine. Emolga, you could probably hit with the Stone Edge, and you'll be fine. And then Vanillish and Cloudster you can deal with however you please. So... yeah, it's not bad. Next you have to fight Naveen. You have to get up against an Ariados, so again, Stone Edge, Rock Blast, whatever. Sableye has no weaknesses except for Fairy. You don't get a Fairy move, so there's no point in bothering. Actually, just try to hit it with just neutral moves, I guess. You can't use... I guess you can use Bugs, and it's Dark type. It becomes neutral to Bugs, so just hit it with, like, Bugs. So, oh well. I'm not sure what you're gonna do there. Crocodile, hit it with a fighting move, and you're fine. Scrafty. Yeah, this is probably one of the easier fights. You have to plan a little bit for it, but I guess that just makes the. I mean, we're about mission 26, so we're about halfway through the game. As there's about 42. We're over halfway through the game at this point, right? At this point, we're getting into the Hotel Rishisme, like the Jacinth stuff, right? So we're getting to the point where we're over halfway through the game at this point, right? We're at mission 26. So far, the game's not impossible, but it definitely forces you to think more. It definitely makes the game harder. Admittedly, having one Pokemon carry you does tend to do that. Admittedly. So, yeah, there are definitely better Pokemon you could use to carry you through the game. Yes. There are always going to be some hard points in the game. Yes. But there are definitely worse Pokemon to try and carry with, but there are definitely better Pokemon to try and carry through the game with. At the end, I'll see if I can think of some better Pokemon to help you carry you through the game. I'll think about it there eventually. You have to visit the boutique center. You get a free outfit. Battle Hard the Mega Pokemon. You have to fight a Florges. Right, I forgot. You don't fight a level 50 Florges, and you need to be able to Mega Evolve. Actually, hold on. Let me check something real quick there. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. So I looked into it a little bit, and you would, in theory, be able to get the Mega Heracross Stone at this point. Because, and you need it, actually, because you need to beat this fight with a Mega Pokemon. So you need to get Mega Heracross in order to progress the game at this point in time. Which means you will need to get 240 Mega Shards, which you should have a decent amount up to this point. Because you have to go farm the Mega Shards back for Corbeau a bit ago. So yeah. Anyways, you beat the girl. She gives you clothes. He's like fancy. Anyways, you get to the place, but you have to head back because you have to go fight some Megas. And these Megas are, oh god, they just get worse. They just get worse. Mega Frostlass. It's a ghost type. However, lucky you get to use your Rock Blast. You get to use your Stone Edge. I mean, you also get Rock Tomb and Rock Slide, but I'd probably just give Night Slash and Knock Off along with Stone Edge and Rock Blast. But hey, whatever. It's already a hard enough fight as is, so just have fun. And that one, it's not fun. Anyways, then you have to go fight a Mega Altaria, a dragon fairy type, a dragon flying type. 4 times weak to ice, and yet you can't do jack to it. Yeah, it's weak to rock. Wait, is it Dragon Fairy? Hold on, wait a minute. Am I dumb? Is Mega Altaria Dragon Fairy? Hold on. Let me check something real quick. Alright, I'm back. Turns out it's actually Dragon Fairy, not Dragon Flying. My bad. Still emphasizes the point, however. It's still a fairy type, and it's dragon type. Which means you have a whole lot of zero super effective moves against it. Since it's fairy, it's not weak to dragon, so you can't use the niche outrage. It's a dragon. It's also a fairy type. It makes it weak to bug. It's also makes it resistant to bug. It's also resistant to fighting. It's resistant to dark. It's neutral to ground, and it's resistant to grass, which means you're stuck hitting it with aerial ace, earthquake. That's it, really. You can only really hit it for neutral damage because you don't get access to a poison or a steel type move. You also don't get access to the ice moves or anything of the sort, actually. You get access to nothing that can hit this thing super effective. You get access to nothing. Have fun with this. This is gonna be a very long fight, frankly. I wish you luck. This is not a fun fight for you. If you do decide to try and beat it with only a Mega Heracross. Next you have to fight a Mega Venusaur. So, it's weak to Fire, Ice, Flying, and Psychic. Which, obviously, knowing Heracross up to this point, you'll realize you only have Aerial Ace. Which is just so good. It's just so good, man. Like, it's poison, so it's resistant to fighting. And neutral to bug. It's resistant to ground. It's neutral to dark. It's neutral to dragon. It's neutral to ghost. It's neutral to rock. I guess you have other options than just Aerial Ace, but Aerial Ace is your only super effective move. So there's that. Anyways, you have to go back to the hotel to go fight, but you have to go fight some. You have to go fight some girly pops with hold on, what is that?
It's a clef key.
So you have to fight fairy types, and you have to fight Laban. Laban has dragon types. She's a dragon type user, in fact, with a Noivern, a Tyrantrum, a Garchomp, and a Mega Dragalge. You know, I'm a man who likes to think. You know, there's hope in things. Like, if there's a will, there's a way type shit. But sometimes you just gotta realize, you gotta question why you're doing the things you're doing. Noivern is a flying type, so you have Stone Edge, but it has flying moves. So it's not fun. Tyrantrum's relatively fine. It's a rock type. You hit it with a fighting move, you're fine. Garchomp, you gotta hit that with normal damage because you don't have any fire moves and you don't have any ice moves. Because why would you have anything useful? And then Mega Dragalge, hit it with an earthquake, I guess. I don't know, man. Whatever. Whatever. It's still not fun. It's probably not it's not a fun fight. The fact you need to do all that is just kind of ridiculous. Rank B, you gotta get ticket points. You gotta go do the ticket. You have to go do. Yeah, I have to go do a tournament bracket, which is where we get to the next Canary fight. Yes, we get to talk more about Canary. Love it. I love it. Canary's third fight at Hotel Rishisme. Actually gets easier as Electros switches out Fire Punch for Zap Cannon. So this fight's actually a lot easier. Also, fun fact, Stunfisk still has Thunder Shock by this point. No clue why. But also, Heliolisk has Bulldoze by this point. So, have fun. Ampharos still has Dazzling Gleam. Have fun with that. Anyways, that was kind of a letdown. My bad. Not a fun fight. But, anyways, now you have to go fight Ivor again. It's fighting types, frankly. Heracross. 11. Jesus. Anyways. Heracross, Machamp, Medicham, Phalanx. Probably the same movesets. me a sec, I'll just check them. I am back looking at the teams. They are the exact same. Still have a release on Heracross. Still have Zen Headbutt on Medicham. Also has Protect. And then Machamp and the Youngs have the same movesets. Overall, it's the same fight. Have fun with that. Corbo! I can't be bothered to check it, but it's the same fight, except he sent out Roserade before Gyarados. Which makes the whole thing more annoying, but whatever. Oh, you also have to fight Zygarde. Whoopsies. You can't catch him, but you have to fight him. Whoopsies. Yeah, that's how tournaments work. It'll be in its 50% form. So have fun dealing with that danky bastard. Granted, it does only use ground moves. The whole time, it only has ground moves, frankly. So you should be fine. But just be careful for its dragon move. It uses near the end of the fight. Anyways, L pops in and talks shit. Anyways, now to fight Jacinth. Probably the next biggest hard counter, as you don't really have a whole lot to fight this bit. You don't really have a whole lot to fight her. Frankly, I'm going to be perfectly honest. A lot of things here has ways to... Everything here has a way to kill you very quickly. Except for Aurorus. Aurorus, still don't know why it's here. This is a fairy-type trainer, but an Aurorus. Don't ask me why. Aurorus is a cakewalk. It has Protect, so watch out for that. But other than that, get rid of that. Everything else, however, is already annoying. You don't get steel moves. So you can't hit Carbon for 4 times effectiveness. Mawile is weak to ground. Gardevoir is weak to ghost. And Mega Clefable is weak to rock. So you have so your moveset for the... Granted, you are able to change up your moveset mid-fight. So going into this fight, your moveset would need to be Earthquake for Carbink Mawile. It would have to be Close Combat or Brick Break for Aurorus. And then you would need Shadow Claw for Gardevoir. And Rock Blast or Stone Edge for Mega Clefable. Which is a fairy type, mind you. Which is a fairy flying type, actually. However, I would say that this is all you need. However, the moveset doesn't fully matter because Carbink has Stealth Rock and Moonblast, so it can hit you with a Stealth Rock, wall you with Moonblasts, and hit you with Stone Edges as well. Mawile has Fire Fang and Play Rough, so great! Gardevoir has Moonblast, Psychic, Mystical Fire, which might burn you. And then Mega Clefable has Moonblast, Air Slash, Mystical Fire, and Protect. So watch out what you do against her. Overall, probably the hardest fight in the game up to this point. Definitely the hardest fight up to this point. Frankly, I don't really see how you win this. Everything here can and will kill your Heracross very quickly. So, alright. So, say you do manage to beat this. You get summoned by Vinny, you gotta go do some shit, you have to go fight some Megas. You have to go fight Mega Dragonite. A dragon flying type, weak to Dragon Fairy Rock Eyes. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. That's all. My bad. Mainly, you have to use rock moves to deal with this primarily. But it's a flying type, which means you gotta watch out for the giant twisters. It shoots around the entire area, and if it hits your Heracross twice, you're dead. Frankly, it's ridiculous, and you're just kind of fucked. You're gonna get blasted with a bunch of flying moves, so you're kind of fucked. I'm gonna be honest. Not fun. Mega Tyranitar, this is your easiest fight in the game. The single best use case for a Heracross in this entire game, even Game8.co says to use the Heracross you got as a reward for the tells you to use Bois the Heracross. However, this is the only fight you will ever be recommended to use a Heracross. So this fight will remain the exact same. I, however, didn't use Bois at all. You may be thinking, this whole video is me just coping for 45 minutes. Wow. Me yapping for 45 minutes, making fun of Bois the Heracross. No, it's not because I'm coping, because I didn't use them. I'm making this video to prove to people that they should not be relying on this false prophet. Bois the false prophet of Kalos. Anyways, you have to go fight Mega Starmie now. So, you also have to go fight Philip, but Philip's actually a lot easier this time around. Because he has an Aggron, which is 4 times weak to fighting. Scizor. Actually, Scizor was actually kind of annoying, frankly, because Scizor, you don't really have anything that hits Scizor super effective, because Scizor is only weak to fire, and you don't have fire moves. Oopsies, have fun with that one. Stupid. But anyways, then you have Aggron. Aggron's easy. Steelix is easy. Skarmory. Skarmory actually loses its Air Slash, like I said, God knows how long ago. But yeah, Skarmory loses its flying move, so this is relatively just a simple fight. Hit it with a bunch of fighting moves until it eventually dies. This is fine. Anyways, Syndicate leaves. You can glide down to Starmie and start this really not fun. This fight is not fun. Yes, you have Mega Horn. However, it is a Starmie, which means it has a bunch of psychic moves. So, yeah. Have fun with that. Just use bug moves and hope you can dodge it shit. It runs around. So, yeah. Fine. Anyways, you get summoned by Vinny again. You have to go reach rank A this time. So you have to go fight Detective Emma with an Ampharos, a Mawile with its fairy moves, of course, Lucario, Lopunny, and a Mega Malamar. So overall, it's 4 times beat the bug, actually, so Heracross actually works here. Yeah. It actually recommends you send a Heracross. This is now the second time it's ever recommended sending a Heracross for a Pokemon fight in this game. You get two. All right, you get 2. I'll give you that. Fine. You get 2. Anyways, after the fight, you have to go find Mabel for clues about Grisham. And this is actually a really long quest, so I'm gonna speed through half of this because you don't fight jack shit here. You have to fight Griselle with a Talonflame, flying move, so it's already not fun. Camerupt, fire type. Aerodactyl, flying type. Metagross, psychic type. And a Pyroar, which is a fire type, also Mega. So, fun. Yeah, not fun. Anyways, you have to go into the Lysander Cafe. There's a bunch of shit down there. It's frankly dumb. It's not fun. It's kind of boring. You can catch or defeat the Manectric. You do actually have to fight an Aegislash eventually. There's a bunch of some such. You have to use Earthquake for this because it's a ghost type. So it's weak to ground, so use Earthquake. Yeah. Use Earthquake because it'll deal with everything real quick. Once you defeat the Alpha, grab your elevator key, go to the Mono floor, read the files, and go do stuff. Anyways, go get your Challenger tickets, and you go fight Grisham with a Pangoro, which is a dark fighting type. So hit it with neutral bug damage, and you're fine. Actually, yeah, neutral bug damage, and you're fine. Actually, you could probably hit it with fighting moves. Actually, it's weak to fighting. A Malamar, so bug. Pyroar, so suffer. Tyranitar, fighting. Salamence, rock, I guess. Pyroar actually hit it with a ground or rock moves, and Charizard hit it with some rock moves. This is a pretty annoying fight. realistically. You don't really win this fight easily. Again, it's also kind of not very fun, but whatever. You get rank A. Anyways, Prism Tower starts glowing. You have to deal with it. You have to go fight your rival, who leads with a Meowstick. Already not fun because... Yeah. Meowstick, you're going to want some Dark-type moves. Something like that. We're going to base it off of my run, where I had a Feraligatr. So it would send out Emboar here, which is a fire type. It's also fighting type. So you can't really use your rock type moves, so you have to use Earthquake, which means getting in close to an Emboar with Heat Crash, which is like one of the best moves, which is a really good move in this game. Fun. Anyways, sends out a Goodra. You have nothing for it, so just hit it with like a fighting move. Then it sends out Avalugg. Fighting moves. Manectric. Earthquake, which you'd be using against Emboar anyways. And then send out a Mega Meganium. Already very fun. Very fun. It's fairy type, so it's not even weak to bug anymore. Which means you have to go back to old reliable Aerial Ace. However, you'll realize in this fight, you need a bunch of different moves, actually. The best move set for this fight is using Earthquake to deal with Emboar and Manectric. A Brick Break or Close Combat for Goodra and Avalugg, which leaves Meowstick for with Night Slash, and you'll want Aerial Ace for Mega Meganium. That is if you pick Feraligatr. If you want the easiest time, honestly, you'd be better off picking Feraligatr, because you don't have anything for Feraligatr, but it's Water Dragon, so it's really kind of annoying. Really, so you don't have anything for it. You have stuff for Emboar, and you don't really have anything for Meganium either. And besides, it sends out Mega Emboar at that point, so go for Alligator. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Anyways, after you fight him, you have to talk to Vinny on the roof. Cutscenes, you have to go to the roof, check the situation, or they'll contact you about the situation, until a bunch of Mega Pokemon show up. A bunch of different Megas show up. You have to fight a Mega Gengar and a Mega Heracross at the same time. This is why Aerial Ace is fun, because you're going to want to Aerial Ace the Heracross until that's dead, and you'll team up with Lita and Naveen to fight off these two Megas. You'll want to use Aerial Ace against the Heracross, and then you'll want Night Slash for the Gengar. Realistically, good moveset, because you do have some time. Actually, no, you don't actually have time, because it's a bunch of cutscenes. Anyways, after that, you watch another cutscene. At this point, you do have access to changing your moveset. So, when you inevitably run into this Mega Garchomp, Mega Pidgeot, Mega Kangaskhan team-up, you can then realize, oh, wait a minute, I have Jack for this. Because Kangaskhan's weak to fighting, so you can use fighting moves on that. Pidgeot's weak to rock, so you can use your rock moves on that, but you're not going to kill it very quickly. And your defense stats, admittedly, aren't the greatest, even in Mega, admittedly. Your defense is 115, and special defense is 105. However, if you don't kill the Pidgeot fast enough, those go down to 75 and 95 respectively. Meaning you get a whole lot of nothing. You also go down to 75 speed, mind you. So, overall, this fight might be one of the hardest in the game, frankly. Because you have to deal with that Pidgeot while everything else is trying to kill you too. So, fun. And you have Ivor and Gwyn to help you. So, Ivor also can't deal with the Pidgeot because the Pidgeot's going to ruin him too. Have fun with that. So, anyways, moving on. Watch more cutscenes. And you go fight Canaries. annoyances, which are a Mega Blastoise and a Mega Steelix. So you're just gonna want to use. You're gonna want to focus on the Mega Steelix because Canary can deal with the Blastoise. So you should be focusing on the Steelix and separating them so that Canary has a decent time against the Mega Blastoise. So Steelix against the Steel type, use fighting moves, separate it, you're fine. Anyways, there's a giant scaffolding, so you're gonna want to go through that. Anyways, you have to fight a Mega Salamence and a Mega Aggron, so you're gonna want to take the Mega Aggron while Leban deals with the Salamence. Anyways, after this fight, you go meet up with Corbo, who's fighting a Mega Gardevoir and a Mega Glade. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the magnum opus of bullshit. I'm sorry, I have nothing. They're both psychic types. They're both megas. You just... Alright, we're almost an hour in. I can swear. You're going to get fucked in this fight, admittedly. You're kind of gonna get fucked. They're gonna spread your booty cheeks and they're gonna shove Moonblast up your ass so far. You're gonna be feeling like a fairy tomorrow morning. Alright, that's what's gonna happen. That's what the Gardevoir is gonna do. Because you don't really have a whole lot to work with here. As with it being psychic fairy type, you don't have anything. You have nothing to hit either. Super effective. You have nothing. Because fairy resists dark and fighting resists dark. So really your only good option is Shadow Claw. Which is one move. One move. I may as well be holding this up because the game is basically telling Heracross to go fuck itself. Fuck itself at this point. Because, yeah, no, it's not happening. Frankly speaking, it's not fucking happening. Anyways, after you miraculously managed to beat that, there's the funny cutscene where you have to climb up the ladder, the rust ladder. Actually, if you happen to accidentally fall off, they have to remake the ladder to get your ass back up there. I learned this after accidentally falling down because I thought Corbo killed himself. Whoopsies. Anyways, you have to fight a Mega Metagross, a Mega Alakazam, and a Mega Aerodactyl. This fight's slightly easier. I mean, you're still getting your asshole rammed open, but I mean, hey, at least it's not too psychic. It's on a psychic fairy and a psychic fighting type. Now you have to deal with a mega psychic steel, and a mega flying type, with even less options to work with. Hey, at least you can use Night Slash against the Mega Metagross and Mega Alakazam. I got nothing. You just pray. Try and burst down the Mega Alakazam with like a Mega Horn. Then focus some Earthquakes on Metagross, and then pray to God the other two can do it with the Aerodactyl. I guess I got nothing, man. Realistically, that Aerodactyl is just not dying. Not to a Heracross, not anytime soon. Anyways, you have to go fight the Hyper Rogue and Floette. I don't really have a whole lot of tips for this final fight, really. I got a whole lot of nothing here. Because this is just a really annoying fight, actually. It just shoots a bunch of, Light of Ruins and such at you. So, you'll use Light of Ruin. You just rinse and repeat until you eventually get to use Mega Zygarde. You watch the cutscene, and that shit happens. You can get a free Mega Lucario. You can get a free Lucario. Now I feel dumb. Hopefully it's still there because I completely missed that. Anyways, AZ dies. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that this is a very spoiler-filled video. If you couldn't tell. Anyways, you make your choices, but it doesn't actually matter. None of them will always look back. Same three options until I pick the first one. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, you have to go do this. Then you go fight Zach. He shows up. One that gives, one that takes. I guess I should be talking about these, but there isn't really a whole lot that happens. You have to go fight Zach. You get the King's Rock. There's a reason I didn't mention Zach in the early game, because his Pokemon are level 9 and level 10. So I'm also not going to be mentioning him now because his Pokemon are still level 9 and level 10. Into the post game, where the previous fights were up against a level... The last trainer battle in this game was up against a rival where he had level 64 Mega. Zach, however, still has a level 10 Pokemon. So there's no point mentioning this fight. Anyways, Elle shows up, talks about the one that gives, the one that takes. The one that gives, you have to go fight a bunch of alpha Pokemon that are enhanced. You have to go fight a Steelix, a Glaze, and a Pangoro. Fun. It's really fun. It's annoying, actually. It's really fucking annoying, frankly. Because, yeah, Steelix is easy, Pangoro's easy enough, but like Glade's always annoying, and it's also like level 70. Mind you, yes, all of these alpha Pokemon are level 70 by the time you get to them, so have fun. You then have to go fight the level 75 Xerneas with a bunch of fairy moves. So, have fun with that one. Again, you don't have anything for it. So, have fun with that. And it's the one that takes... There's a bunch of... You have to go talk to Vinny. Yeah. Oh, yes. You have to refight Victreebel, Hawlucha, and Tyranitar. Again, you get access to... You can kill it with fighting, which is fine. However, you still have to deal with the other ones. So yes, you can technically use Aerial Ace against the Mega Victreebel still, but it's like they're level 70 now. Man, I got nothing. You have to find a level 70 Mega Hawlucha. Like, if you managed to do it before, it's the same fight. You can do it again, but it's the same movesets, but they're level 70. Anyways, you have to go climb the building, and you have to go fight a Mega Yveltal with Psychic. It also has Oblivion Wing, which is a giant beam, which is a flying type. And as capture it to complete the mission. Both legendaries, time focus in the Infinite Zero, 12-15 to progress this mission further. That means grading every night for the challenge 15 times. 15th time will be your rival. I never got to this. But I'm just at a loss for words at this point. So they get rid of the Avalugg. And instead leave you to deal with a Meowstic. Which is sort of fine, not really. A Emboar, level 71. Level 70 Goodra, level 71 Meganium. Hey, it's not a Mega Meganium anymore, so it's not a fairy type, so you can actually use Megahorn on this. A Manectric, which you're going to want to use Earthquake on. And finally, the pièce de résistance, Mega Eternal Flower Floette, which is going to be using Light and Ruin, which is a 140 base power move, being shot out of a special attack of 155, out of a base special attack stat of 155, which is looking closer to about 350 by the time they're level 70. I have nothing. It's a pure fairy type. You have nothing for it as a Heracross. Kill it before it kills you, really. War of attrition, the damn thing. I got nothing at that rate. Hey, you get, hey, after, you know, after the fight, you get the Pokemon, but in a solo Heracross run, doesn't really matter if you get it or not. Anyways, to keep the world in balance, you have to fight L with a Pyroar, a Florges, a Sableye, a Garbodor, a Noivern, and a Mega Gyarados. Granted, it's no longer flying, so it's better. Man, at this point, you can't even write this. You can't even make this up at this point, man. Like, you can't even make this up. I want to believe that there's a world where, in this case, that this ever gets better, but it just keeps getting worse every single time I look at the next fight. I'm just at a loss for words. Anyways, after beating L, you can go to Wild Zone 20. You'll have to fight all three forms. And he's level 84. There's also, you also have to just I'm genuinely just at a loss for words at this point. Because some of this stuff not even I knew, because I haven't beaten the full game yet. So I'm inherently just spoiling myself. But you have to deal with Core Enforcer and all that. Then you can get the Zygarde Cube. And then you finally get, and that is the end of the game. However, there is still a post game. However, there is a fight I want to mention. Canary, starting at, I think her 5th fight, has a full team of 6. And I want to mention this fight because it's an interesting fight. This is her 5th fight, by the way, which her Pokemon are level 69 through 71. So, you would be fighting them in the post game, right? Alright, so here's what each of them have, right? Heliolisk doesn't really have anything, has Parabolic Charge. Lost Thunder Wave, admittedly. Did lose Thunder Wave for Solar Beam and Surf, so you're fine. Ampharos still has Dazzling Gleam, Thunder, Power Gem, Ice Punch. Stunfisk still has Stealth Rock, Discharge, but now has Earth Power and Sludge Wave instead of Thunder Shock and Mud Shot. Thank God. There's not a Manectric, which it gained in the multi-battle. I know it didn't, just kidding. It actually, ironically enough, she has her Heliolisk gains Breaking Swipe, Swift, and Thunder. And Thunderbolt, actually. It gains Thunder. Actually, it always had Thunderbolt. It gains 3 new moves going into this fight, only to never use them again. Stunfisk also gains Earthquake and Thunderbolt, going into this fight, while Electros gets Crunch, again only for this fight, and Ampharos gets Zap Cannon and Focus Blast for this fight, making this, technically speaking, the worst version of Canary in the game. However, you never fight this version, you fight with her. However, going into the 5th fight, we aren't even done! Because she has a new Manectric with Flamethrower, Protect, Snarl, and Thunderbolt. However, it gets better for her, not for you. It gets worse for you. It just gets worse. We have a Dene now. You have Earthquake, yes. Granted, you could say this for everyone. However, Dene has Charm, Super Fang to cut through your already kind of shitty defenses. You have Dazzling Gleam, and you have Thunder on a Dedenne. This one Pokemon is single-handedly meant to fuck over any physical attacker that's weak to Fairy, which i.e. is a Heracross. I don't know why, but this entire fight points to the fact that this game does not want you using Heracross this late into the game, which at this point we've entered post-game content. So, sure, whatever. And then finally, her Electros regained Flamethrower after having lost it in the 4th fight, in the 3rd fight, after having it in the 2nd fight and not having it in the 1st fight. She gained Fire Punch in the 2nd fight, lost it in the 3rd fight for Dazzling Gleam on it. Nope. Actually, I'm just going to stop talking. It lost it for Zap Cannon in the 3rd fight. Then in the 4th fight, it regains Flamethrower. And then the 5th, and then the rematch of the 4th fight is the exact same. That is Canary. Post-game Canary for you. An annoying son of a bitch team that will test your Heracross to the limits and will really require you to spend a lot of fucking money on potions if you even plan on dealing with this shit. And also timing your megas properly, because if you don't do it the right time, which i.e. is the Dodene, you just frankly lose. And that's all I wanted to cover. That's it. I'm done. This video is significantly longer than I thought it would be. Usually I just ramble these points to myself. I never bothered timing these or filming these. But this ended up being over an hour long. Holy hell, I never noticed how long I talk to myself sometimes. Yeah. I think it's safe to say that Bois is not a viable solo carry candidate. It struggles in a lot of fights, especially in the mid to late game. In the early game, it does fine-ish, except for the megas. It does good against 2 megas. 2 megas. 2 of them being Mega Barbaracle and Mega Tyranitar. That is it. Just good against 2 megas and basically nothing else. He's good against, like, second fight Phillip on. He's good against, like, second fight Phillip. And that's really it. I got nothing, man. He's decent against, like, Tarragon, I guess. Because 2 of Tarragon's Pokemon are weak to fighting. But, like, after that, I got nothing, man. Like, you can tell by the way I was, like, handling myself in the last, like, 30 minutes of this video. But there's just a point in time where you just can't say that Bois is a viable carry option. And I don't expect someone to, like, actively pay attention to this video, because I sure as shit wouldn't. At least not, like, actively watching it, because it's just me sitting here talking as I slowly lose my will to talk about this topic anymore, as I realize how damn stacked the game is against a Heracross. So, like, honestly, having me in the background is probably the way to go. Or, like, putting me on before bed, which is probably what I would do, honest to God. If people even care enough to watch this whole thing. I doubt people will. This is probably going to do poorly. But hey, prove me wrong by liking and subscribing and also watching this. Yeah! YouTuber chill stuff. Yay. I should be able to record something eventually. I'm in college at the moment, so odds aren't looking too hot at me making much of anything. But I do have a working laptop now that can play games. So if I can actually start recording stuff on that, I can record some gameplay and put this audio track behind it so you can actually look at something while I talk for an hour and 15 goddamn minutes. Holy. I talk too much. Anyways, that's enough of me. I'm gonna go now before I can tear my throat in half. This has been Pichu, the 679th of my name. I don't know when this is going to be uploaded. Probably tomorrow, the 26th at this rate. But this has been Pichu, the 679th of the name. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.